Good morning children. Today we are back again with a new chapter from politics, key elements of democracy. So in the last chapter when we learned politics, we had learned about democracy, the meaning of democracy. So what's the meaning of democracy? Democracy means it's a government of the people, by the people and for the people. So one of the main features of democracy is that each and every adult citizen is having the right to choose the members of the government from among themselves. So this is the main feature that you had learned in a democracy. So what's the definition for democracy? It's a government of the people, by the people and for the people. For the people means we are choosing members, or the chosen members take decision on behalf of the people, that is for the people. So India is the largest democratic country in the world. So prior to democracy, we learned we had other forms of government which you called as autocracy or dictatorship, or there was monarchical form of government. So various other forms of government existed. So when you discuss about the non-democratic form of government which existed, we find that democracy is the most superior form of government, or it is the best form of government than the other non-democratic forms of government. It is called superior because it gives a chance to the people in the decision making process. So wherever you move related to democracy, you can see that there is the interference of the people. So that means people are more important in a democratic form of government. So in order for a democracy to be successful, there are certain features of democracy, or some elements are there that make democracy more superior. So the different elements that make a democracy superior are the participation, accountability, formal equality and the need to resolve conflict. So these are some of the elements or significance of democratic form of government. So what do you mean by participation? Participation means in a democracy, every citizen can stand as a candidate for election. He or she can participate, or he can stand as a candidate either for the post of a prime minister or a chief minister or an MLA, whatever may be the position, they have the right to stand for election in a democrat. That shows the participation of people. So without people, you cannot call democracy as a fruitful form of government. And the most important way in which people participate is through the system of universal adult franchise, which you call as UAF. It is called universal adult franchise, where a citizen who have attained, an adult who has attained 18 years of age, actively participate in taking part in election, or he has the right to choose his representative. So through a system of secret ballot system. So that is also a way in which people participate. And government after being formed, it is elected for a period of fixed period of 5 years. Now after the tenure, if the people like the government, or if the people support, they can be re-elected again. So here people is also having their own role to criticize the government. They can criticize, they can express their opinion through medias, they can protest through signature campaigns, they can make rallies, they can make agitations, campaigns, etc., showing their active participation. So these are the ways by which people participate, and this active participation of people cannot be seen in a non-democratic form of government like authoritarian or monarchy or a dictatorial form of government. Next is accountability. What do you mean by accountability? See, accountability means the government they have certain policies and programs. They are the ones who take decisions. So once the decision is taken, the government is also having the right to change their decision, because they are accountable to the people. Because they change decision, they have the right to change their decision, because they are being elected, or this government is being formed because the people have voted the government, or people have voted the representatives who form their government. So this is called as accountability, because the people have elected them to a certain position. They are accountable to the people, they are liable to the people. This is this is called as accountability. And here they are accountable to the people because they are being elected by the people. They have some sort of responsibility towards the people because the people have voted the government or the people to power. Next is formal equality. You have learned what is equality. Equality means irrespective of caste, color, creed, sex or religion, all the people are being treated as equal in a democratic country. So, all public offices are open to all, whether they belong to any caste or creed or color, whatever it may be. So, each and every person, irrespective of any discrimination, they are equal before the law and they enjoy equal status as well as equal opportunity before law. So, in India, many people are denied equal opportunities. Either it may be because of economic or it may be on the basis of economic or social inequality. So, and our government gives a certain benefits to such people whom especially backward communities treated, which you call as scheduled caste or scheduled tribes. So, for uplifting such communities, the government has given priority, giving reservations, either it may be in the field of education or a reservation of seats in election, etc. Then women are children, child are also one who are being discriminated against. So, they are also given equal opportunities by the government in order to uplift them. Now, next is what is the need to resolve conflicts. Usually conflicts arise between people when people of different, when there are people related to different culture, there are people related to different regions or religion, then economic backgrounds, etc. When they do not get along with each other in terms, you say that they are in conflict with each other. So, there arises conflict between regions, there are conflict between religious groups, there are conflict based on rivers, etc., which you might have read in newspapers. So, related to region, there was a conflict between Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Then related to religion, India and Pakistan being separated on the basis of Hindu and Muslim community. Then on the basis of rivers, there is a Indus water treaty you have heard. Then a dispute between Tamil Nadu and Karnataka on the basis of Kaveri river problem. So, all these are certain conflicts that arise between two states or countries. So, there is a need from the part of government, there is a need to solve all these conflicts, and it is for this that the Indian Constitution has laid down a number of rules and regulations or a set of laws that are being put forward, that is both for the people as well as for the government to observe it. So, these conflicts and the differences have to be resolved according to the laws that are being put forward by the government. So, these are the key elements of democracy: participation, accountability, formal equality and the need to resolve conflicts. Hope you understood this. It is given in your textbook also. Read your textbook thoroughly. So, you will be getting a lot of examples related to these given points. Thank you.